friends and family, welcome to the Naba's Kitchen. We are having a fabulous day here in the Naba's Kitchen because we're preparing jollof rice. Yes, it's an exciting day. Any day we do that, right? One of your all-time favorites. Now this time we're using herrings. We're gonna make it smoky. It's gonna be tasty, mouth-watering, irresistible. All right, so stick around. Let's unveil this beautiful recipe. Let me get my hands washed so we can get started on cooking. And you guys go ahead and subscribe as well. Turn that notification on. Support your sister. Let's get cooking. Friends, my mom calls this one Dafaduka. In the northern part of Ghana, in the Hausa language, it is known as Dafaduka, and that literally translated means nininyaa preko. And those of you who understand Tree, this means that you should just go ahead and cook it all together at once. So this is inspired by the northern people of Ghana. This is my herrings. They are super dry. That's how they come. They are smoked and dried, and that's how they are preserved. So they are desperately needing to be rehydrated. So what I do is wash them first with some warm water, and then I rehydrate with hot water. I let it sit for about an hour until they're perfectly rehydrated. Then we start cooking. So here is some coconut oil. This is the virgin coconut oil. I use just a bit of it, and I add my onions to it. All of the ingredients are listed in the description box, which is always below, with some very important information to help you to replicate this recipe successfully. So make sure you always check that out. So I cook the onions until they are very caramelized. So we have some brown going on. Next, we need a blended mixture of bell peppers, red ones, ginger, garlic, Whentia, bakboshito, and then we also used 1 Calabash Nutmeg. So we're going to blend all of this together. As usual, we have to add a little bit of water. Now my secret ingredient here is Dawadawa, and that's just went in, followed by some crayfish, which is smoked dried shrimps. We're going to blend all of this together and then add it to the onions and cook it till that is also caramelized and it's almost a dark brown color. And that takes about 3 minutes. That's when the flavors are just perfectly developed. Now friends, we're going to be adding our aromatics. We have to also season, so we have some salt, then we have cumin, followed by some dry rosemary and our smoked paprika to bring even some more smokiness to the dish. Now we also have some crushed black pepper. We're going to put that in there and give it a good stir until everything is beautifully combined. At this point, friends, we have been cooking for a total amount of 8 minutes. The flavors are very well developed and we are ready for the next step. We're going to be adding the herrings. Now they have been sitting for about an hour, so they're beautifully rehydrated. Now we do need to remove the bones because those can be annoying in your food. So you have to take those out, and you certainly don't want to bite into some bones or have them poke you in your mouth. So yes, we'll go ahead and see how easy it is. Before that, it was bone dry. Once it's rehydrated, it's very easy to split them open and remove those bones. Try as much as possible to also get most of the pin bones removed. So there you go, that's perfect, and it's gonna go in now. We're going to also add some homemade tomato sauce. Now this homemade tomato sauce, I have the video of how I made it embedded in my jollof stew recipe, and I have that video linked below, so check it out. There you go. I have 4 cups of that just went in. Now I did reserve the broth that we derived from soaking these shrimps. So we are going to be using that as our moisture because that's all a lot of flavor we don't want to get rid of. So you keep that. We're going to use a little bit of it. And if you have some left over, just keep it for a day when you cook some soup. Now friends, keep in mind that the tomato sauce has been cooked down and simmered for hours. So all you need to do really right now is just add your bay leaves, immerse them, and let it cook for about an additional 10 minutes. Cover it up and then your stew will be ready for the next step. See? Perfect. So now I'm also going to set aside a little bit of the stew. I tried to remove only the stew, and at some point I did have one of the herrings trying to creep into the stew. I removed it and then added it back to the bunch. I'm like, no, friend, you need to go back into the pot. So there you go. See what I'm talking about? Yes, so set it aside. Now it's time to add the rice. It's been washed thoroughly until the water was clear. And this is Basmati rice, which is perfect for jollof rice. And it has very little starch. So, yes, that's the fluffy rice you want. So yeah, add it. And now you're going to stir it and toast it, all right? Which is going to cook it about 20 to 30% of the way. And then the rest of the cooking is going to be quick and easy. So stir it up until all the moisture is evaporated. At this point, that has happened. The oil is starting to separate. It's perfect time to add your moisture. See? Perfect. So friends, I did add 3 cups of rice total to this recipe, and it's toasted and ready. So I'm now adding a cup of the broth, and this is the herrings broth. So we're going to now give it a good stir. Now keep in mind that you don't want to overwhelm your jollof rice with too much water, so add a little bit at a time. You can always add more if you do need it, but you can't take out once it's added. So in order to achieve that fluffy end result, you want to add your water in bits. So I added a cup to begin with. Now I'm going back and adding a little more, and it ended up being about 3/4 of a cup at this point. So it's perfect. See? Now we're going to cover it up and let it cook for 15 minutes. We're going to come back and stir it. It's been 15 minutes, and now look, the water has evaporated. It's time to stir it up. So go in with a harder spoon and give it a good toss so the top goes to the bottom and the bottom comes to the top. It's almost ready, guys. So at this point, we're going to trap the steam, and I use parchment paper. And parchment paper, it can be really hard to get it all into the pot. So what I did was I wet it a little bit with some water and crunched it up in my hand, and it's perfect. So we covered it up and we cooked for an additional 12 minutes, and look at that. Perfect. It is ready to be served. The rice is cooked perfectly. There's no crunchy areas in here. It is nice and fluffy. It is delicious. Like I said in the beginning, smoky. This jollof rice, I promise you, once you try this jollof rice, you're gonna be one happy person having that fun in that kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so try the jollof rice recipe. You're gonna be happy. So we've removed the bay leaves, and now we're adding some freshness to finish it all up. I have some red onions, red bell peppers, and green bell peppers, and I'm going to add a little bit of the stew that we reserved from the beginning, just to flavor up our freshness to finish the cooking. And then we're going to mix it all up and serve. Perfect. I hope you enjoyed this video. I did. I enjoyed the recipe. I enjoyed the dish. All right. So friends, I really appreciate you all so much for watching. And as I always say, make it a great day and have fun, especially in that kitchen. And I will see you again pretty soon on my next one.